What if I told you that the fear sitting in your chest right now, the one keeping you awake at night, has never once come true? What if 90% of what you're afraid of is not happening in this moment? It's a story your mind keeps replaying from the past or projecting into a future that doesn't exist yet. What if anxiety is not something wrong with you, but a habit your subconscious mind learned, and habits can be unlearned? Today, I'm going to show you exactly how the mind creates fear, why your body believes every thought you feed it, and how in the next few minutes you can start releasing years of anxiety with nothing but your own words. Stay with me till the end because the technique I'm about to share has helped thousands of people go from panic to peace, and it costs you nothing but your attention right now. Fear is rarely about the present moment. What if almost everything you fear is not actually happening to you right now? Sit with that for a second. Most anxiety is your mind time traveling, replaying a painful memory from your past, or rehearsing a disaster that hasn't happened and may never happen. Your body, however, cannot tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. The moment you think a fearful thought, your nervous system reacts as if the danger is standing right in front of you. Heart racing, palms sweating, stomach tightening, all triggered by a thought, not an event. This is shocking because it means the enemy was never out there. It was a loop running inside your own mind, on repeat, for years. The good news hidden inside this truth is powerful. If your mind created the fear through repeated thought, your mind can also uncreate it the same way. You are not broken, and you are not weak for feeling anxious. You have simply been unconsciously rehearsing worst-case scenarios so often that your brain now treats them as facts. The moment you realize fear is a mental habit and not a life sentence, everything changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what thought am I practicing right now? And is it even true? That single shift is where healing begins. Your subconscious mind believes whatever you repeat. What if your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a joke, a fear, and a fact? It simply accepts whatever you tell it most often. Every time you say, I always mess things up, something bad is going to happen, or I can't handle this, your subconscious quietly writes it down as truth and works day and night to make it real. This is shocking because most of us have been unknowingly programming ourselves for anxiety since childhood, using words we never questioned. The subconscious does not judge, argue, or filter. It simply obeys the dominant pattern of thought you feed it, good or bad. This means every anxious sentence you whisper to yourself is basically a command, and your mind is loyally trying to fulfill it. But here is the empowering flip side. The same mechanism that built your fear can build your peace. If repeating I'm not safe created anxiety, repeating I am safe, I am supported, I am capable, even if you don't fully believe it yet, starts rewriting the same subconscious code. Change is not about forcing positivity, it's about consistency. Your mind was trained through repetition, and it will be retrained through repetition. This is not wishful thinking, it's how the mind has always worked, whether you were aware of it or not. Once you understand this, you stop being a passenger of your thoughts and become the one steering them. The body keeps score of every suppressed fear. What if the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your chest, or the knot in your stomach isn't random? It's years of unexpressed fear stored directly in your body. Emotions that are never released don't just disappear. They settle into the body as physical tension, fatigue, or chronic discomfort. This is shocking because we've been taught to push through anxiety instead of actually processing it, which means we've been storing it instead of releasing it. Every unspoken worry, every swallowed panic, every "I'm fine" said through gritted teeth gets filed away in the body like an unpaid debt. Over time, this buildup can affect sleep, digestion, energy, and even how safe you feel simply existing in your own skin. The mind and body are not separate systems. They are in constant conversation, and the body is often the one keeping the receipts. This is why breathing exercises, gentle movement, and conscious release work. They give the body permission to finally let go of what it's been holding. You don't have to relive every fearful memory to heal from it. What you need is to acknowledge it, breathe through it, and consciously tell your body, it's safe to let this go now. The moment you start listening to your body, instead of overriding it, you begin releasing fear at the exact place it's been hiding all along. Most fear is actually a lack of self-acceptance in disguise. What if the fear of failing, being judged, being abandoned, or not being enough all trace back to one single root, not loving and accepting yourself completely? This is shocking because we spend so much energy trying to fix outside circumstances, the job, the relationship, the situation, when the real work was always internal. When you don't fully accept yourself, every external event becomes a potential threat to your worth, and that is exhausting to live with every single day. A person who deeply accepts themselves does not collapse into panic over a mistake, a rejection, or criticism because their sense of safety isn't hanging on outside approval. Self-acceptance is not arrogance or complacency. It is the foundation that allows you to face life without constantly bracing for disaster. Most anxious people are, underneath it all, waiting to feel enough before they let themselves relax. But that day never comes through achievement alone. It comes through a decision. The decision to say, I accept myself exactly as I am right now while I keep growing. This single shift removes the fuel that most fear runs on. You stop needing the world to validate you before you feel safe. And once you feel safe within yourself, external fear loses most of its grip because it no longer has anywhere solid to attach itself to. Repeated positive statements physically rewire anxious patterns. What if speaking a handful of specific sentences out loud every single day could measurably retrain the anxious pathways in your brain? This sounds too simple to be shocking, but that's exactly why it's overlooked. We assume healing must be complicated to be real. Saying calm, affirming statements like, I am safe, I release this fear now, or I trust myself to handle whatever comes, isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about consistently offering your subconscious a new instruction until it becomes the new default, replacing the old anxious one. Neural pathways strengthen with repetition. This is simply how the brain works, whether the pathway is fear or calm. Standing in front of a mirror and speaking these words directly to yourself intensifies the effect. Because you are looking directly at the person, these words are meant to heal. It may feel awkward or even fake in the beginning. That discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's a sign old patterns are being challenged. Give it days and weeks, not minutes, and notice how your baseline reaction to stress begins to shift. You are not lying to yourself when you say these words. You are teaching yourself a new truth that used to be buried under years of fear-based programming. This is one of the simplest, most underestimated tools for lasting change. The present moment is the only place you ever have power. What if all your power to change your life exists only in this exact moment, right now and nowhere else? Not in the past you keep replaying, not in the future you keep dreading, only here. This is shocking because most anxious minds live almost entirely outside the present, either grieving what happened or fearing what might happen next, leaving zero energy for the one moment where actual change is possible. The past cannot be edited and the future hasn't been written yet, but this exact second is completely yours to direct. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into what if, thinking about tomorrow, you can gently return to the truth that right now, in this moment, you are breathing, you are safe, and you are capable of choosing your next thought. This is not about ignoring real responsibilities or problems. It's about refusing to suffer twice, once in imagination and once in reality. When you anchor yourself in the present, fear naturally loses its favorite playground because fear cannot survive full attention on the here and now. Practicing this daily, even for 60 seconds at a time, retrains your nervous system to recognize safety instead of constantly scanning for danger. The present moment, used deliberately, becomes your greatest tool for releasing anxiety permanently. What if the fear you have been carrying for years has never once come true the way your mind imagined it? Stand with me for a moment and really consider that. Right now, wherever you are, take a breath, because what you're about to hear could change the way you experience every anxious thought for the rest of your life. We have all been told that fear and anxiety are simply things that happen to us, bad luck, bad wiring, bad circumstances. But what if that's not true at all? What if fear is not something happening to you, but something your own mind has been quietly rehearsing day after day until it started to feel like your identity? Think about it. Almost everything you're afraid of is not happening in this exact second. It's a memory from your past playing on repeat, or a disaster your imagination has written for a future that hasn't arrived. Yet your body cannot tell the difference. The moment a fearful thought enters your mind, your heart races, your chest tightens, your stomach knots, as if the danger were standing right in front of you. This is one of the most shocking truths about anxiety. The threat was never outside you. It was a loop, running silently, built entirely from repeated thought. And here is the beautiful part of that truth. If repetition built the fear, repetition can also dissolve it. Your subconscious mind does not judge the words you feed it. It simply believes them. Every time you whisper, "I can't handle this," or "something terrible is coming," your mind quietly writes it down as fact and gets to work proving you right. But the same mechanism that built your anxiety can build your peace. Speak new words. I am safe. I release this fear now. I trust myself to handle whatever comes. Say them daily. Say them to your own reflection and watch as the old programming slowly gives way to a calmer, steadier version of you. But this work isn't only mental, it's physical too. Every fear you never expressed didn't disappear. It settled into your body. The tight shoulders, the shallow breathing, the exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. That is fear you've been storing instead of releasing. Your body has been keeping score this whole time. So breathe, consciously, deeply, and tell your body gently, it's safe to let this go now. Healing isn't about reliving every painful moment. It's about finally giving your body permission to release what it's been holding for far too long. Underneath almost all of this fear is one quiet root cause, a lack of complete acceptance of yourself exactly as you are. So much of our anxiety is really the fear of not being enough, of being judged, of being abandoned. But what if you stopped waiting to feel worthy and simply decided, right now, I accept myself completely while I continue to grow? That single decision removes the fuel most fear runs on. When your safety no longer depends on the world's approval, fear loses its grip because it has nothing solid left to hold on to. And through all of this, remember, your only real power exists in this exact moment. Not in the past you keep replaying, not in the future you keep dreading, only here. Every time your mind drifts into what if, gently bring it back to now, to your breath, to this second, to the truth that in this moment you are safe and you are capable of choosing your very next thought. Fear has ruled quietly for long enough. Today, you begin releasing it. One breath, one thought, one honest word to yourself at a time. Fear and anxiety were never proof that something is wrong with you. They were simply proof that your mind had been repeating old patterns for far too long. Patterns you never consciously chose but absolutely have the power to change. Every thought you've explored today, releasing the past, retraining your subconscious, listening to your body, accepting yourself fully, speaking new words daily, and returning again and again to the present moment is a tool you already carry within you. You don't need permission to begin, and you don't need to be fearless before you start. You only need to take the next small step today, right now. Healing is not a single dramatic moment. It is a quiet, daily decision to choose peace over panic, one breath at a time. Trust that decision and trust yourself.